Hey, what's up guys, my name is Severman and welcome back to another video on my channel. So in today's video I will show you how I made the drop of my latest song called Need You Now, and I already did a video called how to make a progressive house breakdown using splice vocals, in which I explained how I made the breakdown of this track. So if you want to know how I made the break of this video, feel free to check out that video as well after watching this one. I will link it in the description. But yeah, in today's tutorial or video we will be focusing on the drop of the song, and yeah, I will also show how I made the first break, because there are no vocals in there, but I pretty much just introduced the sound from the drops. So we'll be specifically talking about the drops in this video. So yeah, let's dive right into the FLP. So if you've watched the other video, the FLP should already look familiar to you. So yeah, just to kind of get back into the song, let me just play you the first drop real quick. So let's go. So yeah, this is what this drop sounds like. So yeah, let's just start with the top as always. This time I actually have the kick sitting at the top, and this one solely sounds like that. Then next up we have the bass line, and for the bass line in this track, also for the chords in the next pattern, you might already be able to see it by looking at the MIDI. In this track, or in this drop, I went for that gated type of bass line, which I've already used in quite a few other songs of mine. For example, in Runaway, I used that same type of bass line. Yeah, but let's listen to the bass line. So let's check out the individual layers real quick. So if you know me, you know that I always use the 3x oscillator for my sub, and this one is yeah, a sine wave. So we have basically two oscillators playing. The third one, I muted that one. So basically I have one octave for this sine wave, and then I kind of put one octave up the second oscillator to cover basically two octaves with the sine waves. So as you can see, it's basically covering more frequencies than if you were to pick only one sine wave, because the sine wave always just plays one certain frequency, obviously. That's why it's a sine wave. Then we have the mid basses, and what's special about these is that I used this FL Slayer, which is yeah, a standard native plugin from FL Studio. And yeah, with this one, as you might be able to tell, it basically plays like guitar sounds, like e-guitars and stuff. And this is something which I haven't really heard too much in other progressive house tracks, using an e-guitar as a bassline layer. So I think that's something which is kind of unique, I would say. So yeah, this layer sounds like that. I feel like it gives a really nice kind of crunchy sound to the mid basses overall. So the second one is this supersaw. And then we have this spiral preset, which kind of adds more of a resonance character to the mid basses. So yeah, that's pretty much the bass line. So also let's take a look at the processing real quick. Yeah, there's nothing fancy really. It's just, this one's actually muted. It's just this EQ for the low and high cut, very basic stuff. Just that low cut to make room for the sub, obviously. A filter for automation, and then for the sidechain, I used the Grosbeat this time, because with the Grosbeat it allows you to just kind of dial in the sidechain a bit more precisely. Then with Kickstart, because with Kickstart you obviously only have presets. Yeah, that's actually pretty much already it with the basses. I only routed the Spire preset to another channel, and on here I have this Effector FX module plugin, which also helps to kind of get a more resonancy type of sound for this one. But yeah, then this one is also routed to the second channel. Then we have a pattern for the drop chords. So yeah, these are also gated, and there's nothing really special about these. It's just literally just a saw synth that I made in the sound of one like saw, and then with a bit of detune, turn the retrig off, and then that's pretty much it. Also, like for the processing, nothing crazy. It's just EQing, and then again filter and sidechain. Then we have another pattern for chords. So yeah, obviously this is a piano, and with this one it's not gated. But yeah, this one kind of has more rhythm, or actually less rhythm. It's like it kind of follows more the rhythm of the melody. That's what I wanted to say, and it also kind of adds a more emotional character to the chord, but to the overall drop, I would say. And yeah, for this one I used true pianos. As you might know, like if you watch my other tutorials as well, I usually use true pianos for my pianos. I just really like the sound it gives. And also for the processing with this one, nothing special, just a low and high cut. And the rest is again just filter, automation, and sidechain. So as you can see, if you pick the right sounds, you don't need to do crazy processing with like fancy plugins and stuff. It's really just about finding those right sounds and nailing the chords and the melody and stuff. Like that's way more important. Then next up we have the leads. So for the leads, as you can see, I used a bunch of Nexus layers in this case. So when it comes to lead layering, it's really just about finding the right presets and the right sounds. So I literally, just open up Nexus, search for some cool sounds in there. If I like the sounds, I just kept them and then added another one until I felt like, okay, now I have a really nice full lead sound. And yeah, I ended up using, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 layers in this track. Okay, that's actually a nice coincidence. 11 layers, and the bass channel is also channel 11. So then, yeah, for the processing. So in this case, I felt like the leads had too much body, kind of, around the 600 hertz. That's why I dipped those out a bit. And then the range that's always very important for the leads is the frequency range between 1K and 2K. So that's why I decided to boost this range a bit. If the leads already are very present in this range, without any EQing, you don't obviously need to boost that range anymore. So it always just depends on how the presets that you picked sound without any processing, and then you have to make those decisions, obviously. So that's everything about like the first EQ. Then again, we just have low and high cut. Low cut is at 180 hertz. This one is muted. Then we have the P controller together with the reverb, which you probably also know how I like set that up. So yeah, I always kind of have that in my tracks with the leads, and yeah. Again, filter automation, sidechain for the leads, yeah, and volume automation. Then we have this girl voice sound, which I also like to use in a lot of my tracks. Also helps to add a bit more of an emotional vibe to the song. So if you listen to that one with the leads, as you can tell, it's not too loud, but that's not what it's supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be like in the foreground. It's really just sitting in the background, adding just 5% more to the song. And on that one, I literally just slapped a lot of reverb on it to really kind of push it into the background. But that's pretty much it. Then we basically have the entire like FX section. So we have this crash that I also use in a lot of my tracks. And yeah, some like other effects, sounds. So just check these out. yeah, as you can tell, I actually also used a second kind of layer for the girl type of sound, which stays on one note. And then with those that I just showed you, I kind of changed the pitch throughout the drop. So I have like two layers for this ambience girl voice sound. So the rest is like a few downlifters and stuff to really, like these sounds are very important to really glue the whole drop, but also the whole track together, because they also have to like make the transitions really smooth. And without those sounds, you usually don't really recognize what you're missing in your sound. You usually know like something is missing, but you don't really realize that it's about those sounds. So always make sure you have a few of these FX, downlifters, uplifter sounds in your track to really kind of, you know, fill up the drop or the song. Then we have more chords, and these are the staccato strings, I believe. So yeah, these kind of make the entire track special, because that's kind of the theme of the song, this staccato string type of sound which I have in the song. And the plugin that I use for these is called Brazilian Chamber Orchestra 2. You probably already also know that one if you watch my other videos. And yeah, so I just really like to use that one a lot because it has a really nice sound in my opinion. And yeah, I also picked that same rhythm that I used for the chords in the piano that I showed at the beginning. And what's also special with these chords is that I have some additional notes on top of the chords in the fourth bar and also in the last bar. So that's basically these notes which I'm talking about. So it's literally just 5 notes that I added here, but I think they add so much detail to the track. It's really crazy kind of. Yeah, then also at the end we have those, yeah, it's actually more than 5 notes at the end, also like this variation. And then here, I actually have another like violin or something. Not sure if it's a violin actually. Yeah, it's a violin. So this one also like adds this variation at the end of like in the last bar of the chords. Then we have 2 layers of flags, and then these also add a variation in the last bar. And then 1 more layer. So these additional notes and these additional layers really add that detail to the track, and they really kind of bring it to that next level kind of, I would say. And they really make it special in my opinion. Then we have 1 more layer for chords. And yeah, this one is an organ, as you can tell, also the same plugin that I just showed you. So yeah, for this one, processing, just again some basic EQing. Then I actually made that organ more centered in the stereo field because I didn't want it to have it too wide, basically. Sidechain again. Yeah, and I actually forgot to show the processing for the strings, but also here it's really nothing special. It's just EQing, reverb, a bit of stereo spreading to make them wide, filter automation, sidechain, and volume automation. So again, nothing crazy. I really don't use a lot of fancy plugins because again, it's really about the sound selection. If you nail that, you don't need to do a lot of processing. Then we have a few more drum sounds down here. So this is a tom that I use, just like from a revealed pack, I think. Then I have a reverse crash. Then in the second half I have a clap on every second kick, a shaker loop, another ride, a hi-hat loop, and this uplifter, and also this uplifter, as well as this, what is it called, like a vocal chop loop, also from the reveal pack. And then what's kind of special about like the last 4 bars in the drop is that I drop out the drums actually. And then I also drop out the sidechain for the leads and stuff. So I kind of wanted to create a smoother transition into the break, and I felt like this really helped. And also, yeah, in the break part of in the fill part between the two halves of the drop, I used the bass line from the break. And then I also drop out the bass line of the drop in the last 4 bars here and switch it up with the break bass basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the drop. And again, so as you can see, it's really about picking the right sounds, having a melody that is nailed, having chords that are nailed. Because if the chords aren't nailed, like if there are 2-3 notes in your chords that are off, it will make the entire song off, because obviously the entire song is based on the chords that you have, as well as the melody, obviously. If there's one note in your melody which doesn't seem right, it destroys the entire track. So yeah, if you nail your melody, if you nail your chords, your bass line, if you nail the sound selection, and if you nail the volumes, basically setting the right volumes for each element, you basically have a really good track already. So this really shows that you don't need any fancy or expensive effect plugins, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the drop. Then the first break is really just about fading in the sounds from the drop. Because yeah, the first break is just like 8 bars long actually, and then we're dropping right into the first build up. And that's what I basically wanted to do with this track. I really wanted to kind of go straight to the point, straight to the drop basically. So yeah, there's really nothing really to talk about in the first break. It's just the chords that we have that are being introduced with a low pass filter. Then the leads are introduced in the build up. And then here I have like an ambient piano that I actually forgot to show in the drop, but it's just playing like kind of at this part and then at the end. So yeah, also it's just like a piano with a lot of reverb and some automation here. Like I automated the dry level of the reverb to kind of have it really in the back at the beginning of the break. Then again, we have all the effect sounds, and in the build up we have some snares. Yeah, then we have again the staccato strings, the organ, then those vocal chops. Then we have something which I didn't use in the drop, is this marimba. I think this one also just adds a nice like detail to the break in the background. And then we only have like a few uplifters down here, a few more drums to really build up the energy in the build up. Alright, so that's it with the walkthrough, but before I end the video, let me talk about the sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community for creative and curious people, and it covers over 25,000 inspiring classes. So as an independent music producer in 2021, it's not actually only about the music. Nowadays you need to know how to market and how to promote your music and yourself as an artist. You need to know the basics of graphic design, like you need to know how to use Photoshop or whatever to, you know, create content for the social media and to really get yourself out there. And this is where Skillshare comes in really handy, because it covers a variety of different topics such as music production, photography, graphic design, marketing, and way more. The cool thing about the platform is that it's curated specifically for learning. So there are no ads and there's only high quality content on there, so no clickbait or something. One class that I took a few weeks ago and that I can definitely recommend to you guys as well is this one by Young Guru called Learn How to Mix Music with Young Guru. In music production, mixing obviously is a very important, if not the most important stage. And what I really like about this class is the advice he gives on how you can achieve a balanced mix by placing your elements in the stereo field. I think that was very eye-opening for me actually. So yeah, for the sponsorship, the first 1,000 people to click on the first link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare Premium. So yeah, that's it with my song Need You Now. Again, if you want to check out how I made the second break of this song, check out the link in the description. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. Make sure to leave a like if you did so, comment with your feedback, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.